Why, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I'm your hosting guide, Zollin Ironshield, and today we will be doing something very interesting. I want to talk about choke points in the RiseToWar Lord of the Rings game. Now, this is very interesting because I feel like the choke points they did in this game are very similar to where choke points would really be in the actual lore of geography at Tolkien's Middle-earth. So, we're going to talk about this right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I do a lot of other content besides RiseToWar, even though I do love RiseToWar. So check out all the content, and don't forget to subscribe, which I just said, so you get the point. I really appreciate it. Alright, so we're going to pop straight into the map of RiseToWar Middle-earth. It is very accurate to being very close. They've done some slight adjustments because it's a risk board to make sure it all fits and everything. Now, I'm going to show you in a moment a lot of work I did in the bottom right half of the map with basically mapping it. Now, this would be something cool, RiseToWar, if you would do this for your actual game, for a filter to be able to see all the crossings and stuff. Now, again, you could say, well, they did do that. You know, they put all these little tunnels and crossings and all those things. Well, yes, they did, and I'm glad they did that. But one thing that's hard is still, like, from the geography, where are the borders? Because you might not notice in this area. You could guess some normal borders, like the mountain range, right? But where are the borders maybe like in here? How did they make these borders? How did they do the borders all throughout here? Can you just walk straight through this? Those are the questions, right? For choke points. Now again, if you guys are enjoying this, when I show you my little work here I spent an hour on, and I'll pop it up here in a second, I will do more for the rest of the map. If I get at least 5 people who comment who want me to do more. More of them, because they're a lot of work and you'd actually use them. But otherwise, you'll get the idea. And we're going to talk about it a little bit too. But before I do that, let me bring that up for you right now, my friends. All right, here it is. All right, so this is the bottom right of Middle-earth, right? This is Mordor, Gondor, Rohan, and then just a tiny bit of the upper parts of Rhûn and the Easterlings, down as well as Harad down here. Now again, you're welcome to pause the video and screenshot this little page here and use it yourself if you'd like to, if you're in this part of the game. You know, you're playing one of these factions. But I'm going to explain it to you right now, but please do give me credit. I worked like an hour and a half on this. It was so much work, and I was an illustrator, not illustrator, but, you know, paint picture just as I looked over the whole map and found all the spots. So now, what is it, you ask? Okay, well, it's all the choke points, my friends. So if you look here, the legend I wrote here, this is really hard to write words with the paint thing, I must say. It looks really, really bad. But the lines weren't bad. All right, so anyway, bad for my sake. Maybe some people say this is good. Blocked. Blocked means you cannot traverse it without having a tile on the other side that's your ally or your faction, right? We're going to talk about that real quick, right? Allies or faction. The only way you can travel is by each tile you're touching, or if your friend, your faction member or a fellowship member has a tile there already, you can go to a tile next to that tile that's touching it, right? But that's the only way to travel, right, through this game. Otherwise, you have to travel by pushing and taking tiles and then getting rid of ones because you have a limit to how many you can have, right? All right, so, but here's what's cool about this, okay? So basically, again, all the little red dots, those are keeps, right? And again, they're all red for me because I'm not on any of these people's teams. In this case, when I made this chart, they would be other colors for you, whether they're blue for you because you own it, like that one up here, like we own that one, or they'd be white. No one occupies it yet, like this right here, this capital point. Okay, so again, let me talk about the legend. Blocked orange means you cannot pass it. It's impassable terrain. It's either a river or a mountain or something else that's impassable. Those are usually the only things that they really used to be impassable terrain. Also, if you see dark red, that is the same thing. I put a little red in this E because I realized I changed the colors and I was like, whatever. Oops, sorry. But again, orange and red are unpassable terrains. White means it's an open area between those. And if you notice, I did it between regions, right? So this is how they split up regions in the game. So if you notice, there are names. The way I had to zoom in, it doesn't have the names. But if I pull this back up and zoom in once, you can see they put the names. And if you zoom in again, it'll actually show you the names of each region. And if you hover them, they'll glow, right? They'll glow to show you that region. But within a region like Harandor here, okay, so if I bring it back up, if you look within Harandor, right here, look at Harandor. This is all Harandor, right? This area down here. But look at what it actually, it has impassable terrains and like sections, right? So you could pass this whole area. This is open. This is open. Green is crossings. So greens are either tunnels, or sorry, they're not tunnels. They're something across a river or an ocean. It's one of the anchors, right? And a tunnel is blue, the blue dots. All right. So you can see up here, there's some blue dots. So this is a travel location you can go. It's only a tunnel that you have to control to get through this area. So again, as you can see, you can really look at this for a long time. Now that you know this has my little logo on there, I'm gonna actually blow it up even more and zoom in just a tiny bit so we can kind of look at it together. So look at how interesting Mordor is, for example. Look at how they have like areas. These are little crossings of rivers, but those you have to take those. So if you lock down these crossings and you had people in here, no one could get in except from these crossings, right? And if you notice, when you get into Mordor, there is an opening here. It's an opening, but it's not an opening. So something a little bit this, there is the black gate here. So yeah, it's an opening, but you have to take the black gates. So same thing with this. You have to take these two to get through there. I probably should have wrote that in a little better, but you know, I spent like an hour and a half doing this, and I got exhausted, and I really didn't want to do the rest of the Middle Earth. But this was like a month ago when I did this. I'll do more if you guys want me to. If you leave comments and you're like, we love this, we'll use this, make more make the other 4 slices of Middle Earth. I'll be like, okay. But I'd probably do it if you guys really want me to, and I get a lot of views on the video and likes and subscribes. Haha. Anyway, but look at how interesting it is. So this is an area you can't actually capture, or you can. So when you capture this whole area. But if you notice, you can only get to this keep through this pass or through this pass, right? But to get to this land, you can get in right here, but this is all blocked off, if you notice. So the only way to get into this spot is through here or through here. So those are the things I want to show you in my little map here. So choke points are very important. Now, if you notice something interesting here with Middle Earth, and now the way I did this, again, I got tired. This mountain is impassable. Okay, so the actual, I'd assume people would realize that this is the Minas Tirith Mountains, you know, the Gray Mountains. You can't pass them, right? So that's why, if you notice, these are all rivers that come off the mountains. So there's little passes, right, throughout here. And if you guys remember, we did our little duel area right here, I believe, right? Or was it? It might have been here in front of Osgiliath. One of these, we had a little duel area in Season 1. We kind of used it as the duel section. But again, as you can see, there's an opening here, pass here, pass here. So you can kind of see this. You have to get Osgiliath to pass into this area, and then you have to get this pass to pass into the area where Minas Tirith is. And there's also a river pass here to get to this sliver of area, right? So again, as you can see, Gondor's very complex. There's tunnel passages to get through, right? These are passages to get through with tunnels, otherwise it's a mountain range through here. You can pass through here. You have to come this way. There's a lot of river passings here, right? And this is the only way to get through here, right? Boop, 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 like that. There's a cross here with a mountain pass. You can go into here. This is an opening, so you can go into here. It's interesting how they did pockets, though. So if you're getting attacked, for example, let's say people broke into Mordor, right? And they're attacking Mordor. Mordor could pass into this area and then hold this and this. And if they're trying to pass in, they have to break through to get this keep. And then they have to get this crossing to get this keep. And then they have to go through this crossing to get this keep. And so on and so forth. You have, like, Mordor is a serious fortress defense mode, man. And they've done that with a lot. And if you look at... I don't know why I don't have a line here, but I believe that this is all enclosed as well. Same thing with kind of Edoras. You can only get over here, right, through the tunnel, or this pass to get in to, I believe, the Dunharrowing is there, right, and all those areas. You can cross in like that. And then if you notice, there's a section here that's all safe, Helm's Deep. The only way you can get in Helm's Deep is this crossing and this crossing. That's it. And then same thing. And if you notice, it just kind of... You get the gist, right? I just wanted to show you a little bit more of the map. And same thing over here. Look at how Isengard, you can only get in. There's a pass here. There's a tunnel here. There's a crossing to get across between the two here. You can walk in, right? But you can't get... This is all closed off a circle. You really can only get in this pass and this spot. And then same thing, this area, you can only... There's an open area here, but there's a crossing here, crossing here, crossing here, crossing here. So you can kind of defend this area too. So again... It's very interesting. I really enjoyed it. I really was impressed with the Rise to War team, how much details they did with, you know, crossings at strategic points and where it's like a Risk board game. And look at how detailed it is. But at the same time, you can't... It follows the actual geography of Tolkien's Middle-earth pretty darn well. And I was very impressed. And so now that you've enjoyed this picture that I've worked very hard on, so now you've all seen it, I'm going to go ahead and put that away. And we're going to just talk a little bit more about the map, and we'll finish this up. So again, thank you for joining me if you're still here. My talking and talking. I do love the geography of Middle Earth. I might do some lore videos on geography of Middle Earth because I really love the geography of how Tolkien did stuff. But again, let's just talk about some stuff real quick. Some big landform choke points in this game. There are a few. There is, all right, there's a large choke point here at Argonath that usually becomes a choke point in battles, I've noticed, when there's fighting. There's a lot of choke points right over here. Obviously, the Gap of Rohan's a natural choke point. There is a choke point right here. This is actually an opening. Again, this is why it would be nice if they showed this in the game, that you can cross here, big opening, but these are all blocked off. It kind of looks like you can with a valley, but can you? Like, no one would notice that normally. So that's the kind of stuff I think RiseToWar, you should add that as a setting, where it shows, like, lines of, like, you can't cross this area, but this is a cross. Show the crossings in more detail. You know what I mean? I think that would be cool. Again, I don't know much about this side of the map with what they did. I know some natural choke points, but again, they kind of changed some natural choke points to be more savvy for the game, right? Imladris has some really natural choke points the way they did it. You can come in here, you can only cross Imladris through this crossing. So this whole area is a river on both sides. You can only come in here and here. Okay, so again, this is a big between the Misty Mountains. The big choke points are this crossing, which would technically be the High Pass in the lore, or one of these would be, or this one. This is the Moria crossing through Moria, and then you can cross down here through this, right? So there's only the Gap of Rohan, this one, that one, and then there's one, you can go up through all these crossings, come up around here. You cannot cross through Gundabad. You have to go all the way up, and there's a valley pass right here where the Gundabad fortress from the movies are, the evil Gundabad fortress. It's not the dwarven Gundabad fortress, because that would be over here. Like in Lord of the Rings Online, it would be somewhere over here, closer to Angmar. But the original dwarven settlements that are like Moria, they're just huge. Which, if you want to see, you can watch some of my videos of Gundabad in Lord of the Rings Online. But anyway, yeah. So then you can see there's a lot of stuff over here, and then the crossings, and again, a lot of stuff has changed on the map because we've had a lot of back and forth. So we were all the way this way, and now Arnor's this way, and so forth. And I'm really excited about next season. I think we're gonna do a lot more fun, and every season getting better because more and more people are merging into servers. So it's like more and more people playing, because it's really hard when you have low levels of people playing, right? As you all know, if you're RiseToWar players, like poor you know, Rohan. Rohan is fighter in this season. They're fighter. They took back one of their places here. They took back this one the other day. So they do have players. They're just a lot smaller than other factions. Isengard have almost no players in this season, and so does Rune. I think they changed to other places. Angmar had a lot of players, though. I think a lot of them went to Mordor. But anyway, I just went... That was totally off subject, you guys. I'm sorry. Choke points in RiseToWar. So these are really good things to learn as you play the game, and don't be afraid to find a spot, guys, and just follow a river and know where the choke point is. For example, if you're like, well, is there any choke points here? Like, if you look, like, well, there's a lot of crossings, but can you cross between Khaldun Vale and Erebor? Where do you cross? So go to the crossing. This is what I did for an hour and a half to make that one drawing. And then I just basically went along and see that's an impassable river. And sometimes rivers will stop, and it'll be a passing area. That's why it's good to know. But usually rivers line the borders of areas in this game that aren't crossable, for example. But if you do notice, if you jump to, like, I know there's somewhere over here that I was looking along this river, and it just stopped down here somewhere. So I think it was this one. I was following it, and then it just cuts off, and it just stops, I believe. Maybe it doesn't. Yep, it does. It just stops. So now we know if I open it back up, we know that right here, this is an open area to cross through from Kellendun to... Wait, what is that place? Yeah, Kellendun Vale to East Blight. This is an opening. But there's a river that cuts and goes all the way down and makes a border here all the way to this crossing. Okay? So that's the kind of stuff that you need to know. Choke points are extremely important in Risk board games, as you all know if you've played a Risk board game or any kind of game that's like that, a video game or this, and it's really important in RiseToWar and other games that are like this kind of game. So again, I hope that helped you guys out a little bit. That thing I made was a lot of work. You guys are going to have to like and subscribe and tell me you want more if you want me to like etch out this side and etch out this side and stuff. I was working on this area. I have another one that I was working on this side. So, but yeah, it's a lot of work. But again, I think Rise to War, if you guys see this, or if you know someone that could get the info to them, we need to tell Rise to War that they really need that in the settings. It would be really nice to be able to just have an overlay that you could turn on the map and see all the lines. Like, these are all impassable. Here's the choke points. And you can plan better as a team. And I don't think that's cheating. Because, I mean, we can see the borders of the thing, right? I think that would be completely reasonable and not mess up the game. It would just help people be able to plan. And it would give it to everyone. It's a fair, even tool, right? Everyone will be able to use it. So again, you guys have a wonderful day in Middle-earth. I hope that your day is great. Don't forget to click the subscribe button right there. The next episode of this playlist will be up there in the top left. And our main playlist, Load Your Tail, will be right over there. Check out my other content, even though I do love Rise to War. See you guys in the next episode of Voice of the Rings.